Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? So, in today's episode, I wanted to talk about your self talk. Now, most people have negative self talk. If you have positive self talk, good for you, happy for you. I know that takes work, so many pats on the back. If you have negative self talk, well, that is up to you to decide what you wish to do about that and if you consider your talk to be negative. Now, when I talk about negative and positive, I wish you to know that one is not better than the next. It truly is just choice of experience. When we get into talks here, normally how I talk about a lot of things, it's not about one being better or worse than the other. It literally has to do with choice of experience, and that's all it is. So, what I want to talk about is how much our thoughts and talk affect everything about the everyday experiences that we have. Because what we need to understand is that thought forms are energy too. Everything is energy. The talking, the listening, the lights, what we see, every single thing is energy. And so thoughts become energy as well. Now, the thing about it is, it depends on you because literally whatever you say, decide, and intend ends up being your reality. And so for me, I believe self-talk has a lot of potential to create what it is that we live on the everyday basis because we are living among ourselves, within ourselves, and everything about ourselves constantly. And so to me, it makes sense that our self-talk would have a lot to do with the experiences that we are having. Another thing that I notice is how many people do not pay attention to their self-talk, thinking that their self-talk doesn't affect their lives until they start to hear what it is that they are talking to themselves and saying to themselves and treating how they're treating themselves. Do they realize how much of an effect this may have? Now, when I say self-talk, a lot of it has to do with a lot of people calling themselves names. A lot of people call themselves idiot, call themselves stupid, moron, whatever. How could you do this? And they give yourself, lots of people give themselves a hard time for screwing up some of the silliest things, for forgetting something, for completely disregarding something. And in ways, I guess, it is kind of something to make other people feel better. Maybe if the other person was like, how could you do this? And then you're like, oh, I'm an idiot. But I mean, to me, that's not great self-talk in any way. And personally, as even an onlooker, I don't like watching my loved ones go through that. At the same time, people don't recognize how often they're actually saying that stuff to themselves repeatedly and think that it doesn't have an effect, when in truth it does. Because you might not notice that it does while you live your self-talk because you're used to the life you live, but the moment you change your self-talk and you're become conscious of your self-talk and watch other self-talk and you see your life change and recognize that maybe this slight difference does have a huge effect, that is when you start to see the big differences that self-talk makes. And it's something that I see on the daily. It's also something that I teach, and it's something that I've seen transform people's lives. And it comes down to every little moment of self-talk, from how are you saying that? Is this coming from a love place? Is this coming from an intentional place? Is this coming from you're being mean to yourself place that you don't even recognize that it's happening? Some of it is also things that we take on and learn from our parents, our peers, or the way that we were talked to when we were young and have now spoken to ourselves this way for years and years and years. And it truly affects our lives. So big one that I find is normally just when people call themselves names, and a lot of the names aren't very nice names. And to me, this is why I first presented the videos about choice, appreciation, and forgiveness first, because these videos have a lot to do with these small moments in time that literally seem like a millisecond, but yet affect our entire being. And so within these times, what we're doing is we're slowing it down and we're breaking it apart in ways where it's like, okay, where is the choice in this? Where is the intention in this? Where is where I can forgive myself? Where is the guilt? Where is the shame? What can I let go of? And how can I transform these things in these little moments of time that actually make big differences for the all experience of what I'm experiencing as life, as what I'm putting out there, as what I'm receiving, and etc., etc. And these little things to me are what make the biggest difference. And because you're going to the core of yourself and dealing with these things, it affects everything else happening outside of you. There are many different ways to do these kinds of things, and it's up to you what you choose to experience. I'm just sharing with you the kind of person I am and how I decided to change these things. So another big one would be like for tonight's big global meditation, if you're deciding to do that. Another big one would be thinking like, oh, I don't think I can do that because I don't meditate. Right there, your self-talk right there is already limiting yourself and dimming yourself, when in truth, we all have all the exact same potential and more of energy to give off, and it's just up to you what you decide to do. The reason why I brought up tonight's meditation is because this is huge. And when I say it's huge, it's actually bigger than a lot of people even understand it to be. Back during 9/11, when that happened, there was a huge global meditation of peace as well then. And that was the first time scientists had measured this huge surge of energy that they weren't able to pin down to at the moment what it was, until they realized it was the energy of the consciousness of the meditation, and how much energy we truly have and how it's able to be measured like that. I mean, they haven't talked about it much in mainstream because it's hard when the sciences of today, and when I say that, I do mean kind of the past sciences, and we're kind of opening up to more things again about consciousness, metaphysics, and a lot of things that the science of today kind of took out of science, even though it's very much a part of science, because you don't get to pick and choose what's a part of science. I mean, everything created is a part of science. It's just not able to be measured in the science that we understand at the moment, but it doesn't mean it's not science. And I mean, this is a whole nother things to get into, but I do have my science and creation episode already up there, and a lot of episodes talk about the things and how I believe about all that kind of stuff. Point being, what I'm trying to say is tonight's meditation involves a lot of people that don't understand a lot of things about meditation, and they also don't understand a lot about protection and intention and where that goes. And why I wanted to talk about this here in the self-talk episode is I don't wish for people to diminish the potentiality of what they don't know that they have in the moment based on their self-talk, that they are negating themselves and limiting themselves, saying that they aren't able to be a part of whatever because of whatever. That is all up to you, and already in those moments of talk is already creating a manifestation or potential possibility of timeline of what it is that you choose to experience. And what I wanted to say here was that all of our self-talk determines what happens on the all scale. And that is also how we can use self-talk as protection, self-talk as intention of what we wish to allow to be out there, what we wish to allow to receive, allow protection, allow the boundaries, allow what we put out, allow what we allow to come in. And I mean, it's just a lot of choosing what you allow for life, what you intend for life, what you allow for life, and then the creation of that. And that does come down to self-talk. Because when you start talking or realizing the things that you're saying to yourself, you start to recognize how you see your character, what you say about your character, what you portray as your character, what you allow to be seen of you, what you allow to be out there for people to receive as you, even though there are people that can see through some of those things as well, because we have the intuition, intention, and energy readers, as we all actually are. Our sensitivity is up to us to open up to. We all have the potential and ability to do anything of whatever humans can do. It's just up to us of what we allow our mind's eye and heart to believe, and allow what we open up to. And that a lot of times has to do with a lot of gifts from past. And if you don't believe in past lives, then you don't. But the truth is that you, I, and everyone has the ability to open up to any kind of talent and skill. It's just if you choose to believe that this is a life that you deserve, that you're open to, that you have all of these, it's really up to you. If you believe you have gifts, if you believe you have limits, if you believe any of this kind of stuff. And this is what the self-talk is. So for me, I believe in listening to every single moment of self-talk. And when I say that, I don't mean that you need to be hard on yourself or it needs to be not fun. I actually created it to be fun. And it's up to you what you decide is fun. But for me, I really just decided to tell myself that in every moment I would kind of create like check marks or checkpoints, and where it was like, whoa, okay, how do you feel about that, Vanessa? Did you like the way you spoke to yourself? How do you feel about that? Why is it you feel this way? And I would try to heal these kinds of things that I didn't find that were actually helpful to me and towards the experiences that I wish to experience. So it's up to you what it is that you decide. Do you wish to call yourself a moron or idiot when you don't like what it is you did? If you're fine with it, then allow for it. But if you wish to not call yourself that, or if you wish to give yourself pats on the back for things that you recognize aren't that bad, or if you recognize that you wish to love yourself more or to create something else more, that's all up to you and what it is that you decide for your life. For me, I changed those things so long ago, so many years ago, that I haven't noticed that when I look at things now, I am constantly looking for the more positive everything. And those things come to me quicker now in so many ways where people don't even sometimes see. And right away, I can be like, hey, that wasn't very nice self-talk to yourself. Even though to themselves, it's a very normal way to talk to themselves. And I mean, it's up to you too if you think that this stuff even bothers you, because you could easily be like, hey, when I call myself an idiot, I'm actually saying it in a very loving way. So to me, idiot isn't even a harsh word. It's a very loving word. But then to also know that when you call somebody else an idiot, if you do, they might not take it in that loving way, even if you mean it in that loving way. And that's allowed. Okay, it's allowed for you to think of it as loving, and it's allowed for them to not, because of your different chosen experiences of how that word affects you. And this is something that we're going to talk about more and more as well, as we get to understand that literally everyone has different definitions of words based on their experience, as well based on chosen experience. And these things are things that we'll come to understand, meaning that experience is mostly what we've gone through already, and chosen experience is from that moment when you decide to be conscious about these things and you choose your experience. So anyways, tonight what I wanted to say was for people self-talk to remember where you're coming from intentionally. If you decide to do this global meditation, that you get to decide what it is that you protect, what it is that you allow out, what it is that you allow in. And if any of that is fear energy, that you can even change and be like, please transform my fears into the most beautiful, loving things that I wish to send out into the universe, to people, to whatever, to global humans, humanity, whatever the world's going through, whatever it is you come up with, you know. And for me, I believe to trust in your heart of that, meaning that if you come from a loving place, don't worry about what is being sent out there, because what is being sent out is love. But at the same time, if you feel like there's all these other energies out there, you can just say, please transform these into the love energies that I actually truly wish to send out there as well, only to receive the things that are beneficial to me in in the ways that I need. At the same time, recognizing that sometimes what's beneficial to you is those dips, because it's the dips that bring you to the high. And I mean, there's so much in this, but again, it's the wording that allows you to allow what it is that you put out there, what you receive, and then it's that whole cycle of, the giving, receiving, and energy. So anyways, I love you all. Good luck with checking in with that. And I will be doing many, many, many more episodes about self-talk and checking in as we go along. But I love you all so much. Thank you for being the loving beings that you are, because honestly, the earth and where we're at is because people are so amazing and loving and only care to be able to be a part in all of this in the most loving of ways. And I truly thank humanity for that, because the reason why we're living in these most aligned, beautiful times right now is because your light being, your heart being, your soul being chose to be here in this moment of humanity to experience life as we are, so that we can all upgrade and raise everything into the higher frequencies that we are vibrating at. And it truly is so much that the world has shut down, because it is in its own way showing the old paradigm shifting into this new world that we really are in right now. So, anyways, I love you all so much. Remember that everything has to do with intention, and that you are more worthy than you know, and more valued than you know, and more loved than you know. And you are loved right back. And it's up to you if you decide to receive whatever energies it is that you wish to. If you wish to receive the loving ones, they are there for you. If you don't believe you deserve them, trust me, you do. Just open up to them. They're all around you. And if you wish to receive going through the darkness, that is also what you will go through. It is completely and entirely up to you. There is nothing bigger and grander at this very moment than free will and choice, and it is literally up to you. I love you all. We're all here from heart, intention, unconditional love for each other. Thank you for being you and being here and raising us all to the most grand of experiences, which is us as a collective experiencing love and healing as a whole. So much love, everybody, and good luck with your self-talk. And even help to speak to others better. It helps, working on your self-talk actually helps a lot of talk in general. So, love you all. Mwah! So much love to everybody, and excited for this journey with you. We are at the beginnings of the new cultivating of where we're going, and this is going to be for the next few years. Not exactly the experience as it is in this moment, as it's always changing, but it is always up to you in this moment of now where we go, So lots of love, everybody. Thank you, and take care.